Welcome to the Hindu editorial dictation. 100 word per minute. Ready? Start. The UN Summit on Biodiversity convened on September 30 in the midst of a global crisis caused by the novel coronavirus that is thought to have spilled over the humans from an animal reservoir. In New York, member nations of the Convention on Biological Diversity took note of the link between biodiversity loss and the spread of animal pathogens, calling for an end to destructive industrial and commercial practice. There is consensus that conservation targets set a desired ago in Aichi, Japan to be achieved in 2020 have speculatively failed. Evidence is presented by the latest UN Global Biodiversity Outlook 5 report. None of the 20 targets has been fully met. Many countries have chosen to ignore the connection between biodiversity and well-being and depleted ecological capital in pursuit of financial property. Among the Aichi targets that fell by the wayside are those on reform or phasing out of subsidies that erode biodiversity, steps for resource use within safe ecological limits, preventing industrial fisheries from destroying threatened species and vulnerable ecosystem, and an idea to pollution including growing plastic waste. A bright spot is the partial progress made on protecting surface and subsurface water inland, coastal and marine areas, but the losses appear even more stark from WWF's Living Planet Index, which points to precipitous decline in vertebrate populations, a key indicator by 68% over 1970 levels. Full stop. Faced with fast eroding ecosystem health, the 196 CBD member countries must chart a greener course, aligning it with the Paris Agreement, which has a significant impact on the health of flora and fauna. At Wednesday's summit, India's message was one of pride in an ancient conservation tradition as one of the few megadiverse countries and one that recognizes the value of nature as much as the destructive impact of unregulated resources exploitation. National laws of the 1970s and 1980s have indeed shielded islands of biodiversity, particularly in about 5% of the country's land designated as protected areas, but they are today seen as irritants to speedy extraction of natural resources. In this unseemly hurry, due process is sought to be dispensed with as envisaged by the new EIA norms proposed by the NDA government. There is little concern for indigenous communities that have fostered biodiversity and no effort to make them strong partners in improving the health of forests and buffer zones. Now that CBD members are set to draw up fresh conservation targets to be finalized next year, India too has the opportunity to plan a trajectory of green growth after COVID 19 around clean energy, ecological agriculture, a freeze on expansion of mining and dam building, resource recovery from waste, and regeneration of arid lands. It should join the coalition of the enlightened. Full stop. This is 800 words. दोस्तों अगर आप इस वीडियो को देख रहे हैं, वीडियो को हाँ, आप डिक्टेशन को लिख रहे हैं, तो डिक्टेशन को लिखते समय हमेशा याद रखना कि टाइप ज़रूर करनी है। अगर टाइप नहीं कर रहे आप तो डिक्टेशन आपके लिए ख़राब है बिल्कुल, ठीक है। और आपको कभी भी फ़ायदा नहीं हो पाएगा जब तक आप टाइप नहीं करोगे। काफ़ी सारे बच्चे होते हैं कि किसी भी सॉफ्टवेयर में टाइप करते हैं, लेकिन आप सॉफ्टवेयर में टाइप मत कीजिए, आप सिंपल नोटपैड में टाइप कीजिए। नोटपैड में टाइप करने के बाद उसको फिर मैनुअल चेक करें, ना कि किसी सॉफ्टवेयर में। ओके, थैंक यू, हैव ए गुड डे।